Hello and welcome to this new content sequence I am calling Into the Maasiverse that I am super excited to be launching today. The premise is relatively simple, although logistically it is a massive undertaking. Because I am going to talk through every single Sarah J. Maas book that is out right now and give summaries of what happens in each book. The aim is to keep these videos at about 10 to 15 minutes long. But as anyone who has read a Sarah J. Maas book can tell you, that's not going to be easy. Now, the reason I'm making these videos is, number one, because at the present date and time, the release of the third Crescent City book is imminent, and people online are heavily encouraging each other to read the rest of Sarah J. Maas's books before House of Flame and Shadow comes out. For some of us, the endeavour is simply going to be rereading books that we've already read and enjoyed. But for many, this is a mammoth undertaking. Sarah's written 15 books so far, the smallest of which are going to be the first Throne of Glass books and maybe ACOTAR, which I have to say I wouldn't describe as being small books. So I thought I would record a set of recaps of everything that happened in each book to either A, speed up the refreshing process people are trying to do at the minute, or B, help anyone out who doesn't think they're going to be able to finish all of the books in time, or who simply start one of the series and don't particularly enjoy it, but still want to have the best experience possible going into the third Crescent City novel. Now, I'm aware that these videos are going to sit up on the internet for quite a long time, so you very well may be coming into this series after all these books are done. What I plan to do is release an initial bulk of videos pre the release of House of Flame and Shadow, and then I will simply add to this collection as each new Sarah J. Maas book comes out. What I plan to do is work my way through each Sarah J. Maas book one by one, giving a rough overview of everything that happened in that book. Now, because the series overlapped in terms of release, what I'm going to do is start off with her first series, do that in its entirety as Throne of Glass is the only finished Sarah J. Maas series. I'll then start on the ACOTAR books as they were the next series to be launched. I will go as far as I can with the ACOTAR series to date, and then wrap up this series talking through the Crescent City books. Unless you're watching this far into the future where there are even more Sarah J. Maas series out into the world, in which case they'll be added essentially once this big bulk load of videos have been uploaded. What I'll do is I'll create videos for every subsequent Sarah J. Maas release. So this should end up being a comprehensive collection of summaries of all of the Maasiverse novels. So we'll start off with Throne of Glass, and I will be going through those books in publication order because that is the order I recommend people read those books in. Anyone who tells you to start off with Assassin's Blade simply does not intend to go along with Sarah J. Maas's intended reading order. Because if she released the prequel novel third, then you should read it third. It also gives maximum impact for just the emotional devastation that the series is well known for. And I'm not going to talk about Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms from Throne of Glass at the same time. I know lots of people support the idea of a tandem read, but for your first time going through these stories, you absolutely should not try the tandem. You should read them as Sarah intended, which is one after the other. So that is the order in which I will be talking about the books. Essentially, episodes 1 to 8 will all be focusing on Throne of Glass books. I'm really hoping none of them have to be two-parters, but as you can see on this shelf, towards the end of the series, the books are significantly larger and more complex, so I may need more time to discuss them fully. We will then do the 5 to-date released ACOTAR books. I'm pointing up because they're on the shelf just out of shot above me. We will finish with the 2 to-date released Crescent City books. If any future releases come out that insert into the existing series, as you go through this playlist, they should sit in order. So if a book comes out following on from Silver Flames, if you play the playlist through in order, that should sit straight after and before Crescent City starts. Is my thinking so far? You'll be able to tell me this time next year if that is actually what ended up happening. So I won't be sharing any theories, but I will be sharing a ton of spoilers. We're going to try and keep these short. We're going to try and keep these digestible because a lot of the Sarah J. Maas fan content out there is very dense very theory focused, and some of you may not find it particularly accessible at the minute. These are videos for people who simply want to cover the basics, either to remind themselves of what happens in a far shorter time frame than it's going to take you to read all the books, or just want someone to tell you what happened in books that you're not planning on reading, or books you're considering reading but you just want to have spoiled now. I'm your gal. And you might be asking, Christy, what qualifies you to speak on a topic that so many people seem to act like experts on? Well, I'm not going to pretend to know more than anyone else. What I am going to tell you is that I love Sarah J. Maas. This entire section of my mini library is dedicated to the different editions of Sarah J. Maas books I own. She may have only released 16 novels so far, but I have over 60 Sarah J. Maas books in my house. The works also took one of my adverts about the reskinning of Throne of Glass and turned it into an advert on TikTok, which basically makes me a Sarah J. Maas pro. So, if this sounds like your cup of tea, this could be the playlist for you. So let's strap in and get ready to go on a journey into the Maasiverse. I hope you enjoy.